Dear Venerable Sisters, Dhamma friends, today is the 4th day in our retreat, 4th day of the month, 4th day of the year. So we are going to take time for the day's Dhamma talk. May everyone settle down for the talk and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Siyatapi bhikkhave puruso Chappanake gahitva Nana visaye nana gochare dalhaya rajya bandeyati. Dear Venerable Sisters, Dhamma friends, today being the fourth day, we are coming to the crux of the sutta, the particular discourse. The Buddha, with the background we already prepared, come to the example to indicate or depict the situation in one person's personal suffering or friction or the unsatisfactoriness, to depict it, to show it. The Buddha is coming out with another example. Siyatapi bhikkhave puriso, O monk, imagine a person, Chappanake gahitva, 5 or 6 animals, he catch all, nana vise nana gochare. Each and every one is from the different ranges and they have different habitats or different domains. They have different feeding habits and feeding grounds. Dallahaya rajya bandeya. Each and every one, every animal, he tied with a strong rope, and later all 6 together, all the ropes in the other hand, tied together. And this is the situation of a untrained mind or untrained person, we can say. Then, to make it more dramatic, to make it more exemplified, the Buddha gave names for each and every animal, and simile, the eye is being represented by a snake. Take a snake and tie into a rope and tie into all the other 5 animals. The snake is always searching for an anthill as his dwelling place or domain, and it is pulling towards the anthill. And the ear is being represented by a crocodile. The crocodile is always pulling towards the water and searching for his habitat as well as for the feeding ground. And the nose is like a bird, flying, and also he catch hold and tie into this group, and it's always fly up into air. And the tongue is being represented by a dog, and it is being tied into this group and pulling always toward the village or households. And the body is like a jackal, always pulling to a cemetery or a open carnal ground, searching about the decaying carcasses. And the mind is as familiar, a mad monkey. Also catch hold and bind into this group, and the Buddha is explaining when these all 6 are pulling into each direction, each and every one is frustrated. And that is the general truth. And whatever may be the strongest will pull all the other 5, and all the other 5 has to surrender. Anuvatteyam. They has to go according to the powerful animal for the given moment. And they fall into the other 5 has to fall into the powerful one's demand. And this is never at equilibrium, no any harmony. Always this is the way it happens. And that the Buddha says, when and where one's mind is not mindful, and specifically he mentioned when one's mind is not mindful about the posture or one's body, the all 6, even the body, untrained body itself is pulling into its own direction, and that is what it happens. So without knowing that, we in our household life try our best to feed the snake or the eye with different colors and with different shapes. And it never be satisfied, and asking again and again different colors and different shapes. So we try our best, do our jobs, and we migrate from one to the other place, do overtime, and try our best to satisfy the snake. And meanwhile the ear is asking, so therefore when you go back home, there are so much of musical instruments and radios, television, telephones. They are try to satisfy the eardrum, but not a single person throughout his or her life cycle never satisfied. And therefore we think if we can get more money or some promotion in our life, in the job, or if someone favor us, one day we will try to satisfy the eardrum more than our parents, more than our neighbors, and we keep on feeding the crocodile. And then the bird, the nose, we buy different kinds of perfumes and smells. They are very expensive. You have to import it from the different countries. Even in the historical time, kings were so crazy to get perfumes on the Kashmir or the Arabic countries. So they are very bragging about they are rich, therefore they can have so much of perfumes and smells and sweet smells. But even then the king is not satisfied. When they are dying, when they are zinking, always with the vacuum, lacunae, and not unsatisfied with the smells. And the dog is always pulling to the village, and we have the morning meal, we have the lunch, we have the dinner, another short eats, and dessert, drinks, different countries. When you go to a junction, we can see Chinese hotels, Japanese hotels, Italian, Indian, and in Sri Lanka we have Pollatukada and huts and pizza huts, all the kind of thing. And we feel we are very rich because we have so much of menus and food science. But only 6 hours, and then again you feel hungry. And keep on feeding, and we are bragging about the amount, the quality of the thing we are feeding to the dog, and it's always pulling to the village. And body, it is asking always the luxurious beddings, the chairs, the cars, and all the kind of carpets, cushions. So, Pandita Sayadaw used to say, when the yogis are traveling from one country to the other country, how many cushions they are carrying over the planes, because that they wish to have the comfort. So if you wish to know how many kinds of cushions, you go to a meditation center, you can see all the types. Even then, not satisfied. Even then we are planning, okay, I also got a small piece this time. It's a new one. So I hope that next time I will be sit comfortably. And that is the way. The luxurious beddings and the chairs and cushions. And the mind, that is the mad monkey. We are feeding with different philosophical ideas, second-hand knowledge, and future planning, past regrets, all the kind of thing. Never at rest. So this is the situation. And still we individually consider I am specific. But here the Buddha says, whatever the specific nature of you claim, all lie in the same boat. This is the common example. And consider it in a constructive way. The human nature, humankind, human culture, human upbringing is always thinking one day, with the help of this technology and the infrastructure and communication system and all, one day we will be happy, will be satisfied with luxurious things. And that is why this rat race among countries and among nations, among families, among individuals, always we are chasing behind these luxuries, but more and more luxuries, more and more technology, more and more suffering. It's ever increasing. And this explanation or this presentation happened more than 2,600 years ago. So still we are considering being householders or being citizens, we know how much individually try our best to try our best to feed these 6 animals. They are with different domains and different feeding grounds and everlasting fight. And whatever it may be, all the 6 animals are desperately waiting. They are utterly discouraged, and occasionally they have to just surrender to one another powerful animal, and then others have no way, no chance for their will or for their desire, just surrender. So last few days, 2 days, we try to understand, taking an example of a walking meditation, that means a person who recognize, who understand this simile in a constructive way, he try to see, instead of feeding these animals, to discipline them or restrain them, so that one day you can understand how vicious these 6 animals are. They individually not happy, they are desperate, and they collectively never consider the well-being of the person, well-being of the owner. So therefore, owner is thinking that whenever the individual animal becomes satisfied, he will find kind of a equilibrium, satisfaction, contentment. But individual animals, they never consider the well-being of the being, entity. So if someone to understand that much on theoretical grounds, at least he will put into practice, put into experiment. is it true that our eye, the birth, the living and the death throughout unsatisfactory? And our ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, everything is something like that. To instead of feeding them to come to a satisfaction, just to see this vicious situation, unsatiability, no peace of mind. To see it, the Buddha considering and giving a package for such a person, he considered that three kinds of restraint: the moral restraint, concentration restraint, and the wisdom restraint, whereby he first take care about the social norms and penal code, and not to transgress them, just to abide by the social norms, the civil laws, and that is called the moral restraint, not to transgress. And then he finds that he is free from the penal code, and is free from the blame from the others, and free from one's self-criticism, and he can have a certain amount of peace of mind. So much so he is restrained from moral restrainment. And that is how we call the people at large must abide by the social norm. And whenever someone become a mendicant, it's a basic condition. And once you achieve certain amount of that restraint, even then these 6 animals, they never get the message to a considerable extent. So you have to, the way the Buddha is suggesting is, they all 6 animals are harnessed to one particular knot, so they are freely moving. Instead, drive a pole or peg heavily on the ground and tie all the 6 animals into that particular peg. And then there is a kind of a central control, and that particular peg is known as your posture, known as your body. So that is what we try to do in a retreat, in a sitting meditation session, walking meditation session, in the day-to-day activities, while we are fulfilling all the meditation instructions, how much and how far can we keep our mind or mindfulness on your posture. So when you are doing walking meditation, as an example that we cited for the last 2 talks, when you are walking, you try your best how much you can keep the attention, the mindfulness, the vigilance, the diligence on the body as such. And this, out of 6 animal, body itself is 1 animal. And therefore you take the soul touching the ground as the peg, as the pivotal point, as the reference point, and see how many steps you can keep, knowing that this is left leg, this is the right leg like. And when it happens, you see how the eye is pulling our attention to the visual objects, how the ear pulling our attention to the sounds, and the nose, the tongue, and the other parts of the body, and the mind. So in meditation, one may learn the eye is the most vulnerable thing, and it's the most powerful thing. So often you'll be carried away, wandered off through seeing. And that is the most profitable thing in advertisements. They know, but not for the good. They pull you, whatever you do, visuals. And given whatever the thing you do, while you are driving, both the sides of the road, so much of advertisement. And changing the shape, changing the color, and while you are driving, you do not know how many thought moments you are jumping out, look at and come back. And in walking meditation, in the slowly, mindfully, silently, how much the eye and the visual objects are connecting each other, despite our main object. And when it happens, the eye becomes, it's so sophisticated, so specialized, so sensitive, so easily pull it. And then the ear, and then the nose, the tongue, and the body is the most boring thing. And then the mind, it is not materialistic, it is immaterial. So even though it is being listed as eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and the mind, whenever the meditation or concentration or wisdom going to happen, we have to start from the body point of view. That is what the 4 Satipatthanas or 37 factors of enlightenment start with Kayanupassana, contemplation or awareness on the body, on body. So this is when and where you keep the attention, despite the eye, ear, nose like animals, you become successful to the amount of effort you exert. So more, and when the first day happened, the second day, third day, today is the 4th day, you learn ways and means, how much thought moments or how many events you can keep the attention with the body, left, right, how many steps, how many seconds, or how many minutes. So more and more you go there, you can understand, or you have to understand. Slowly it becomes boring. Slowly it becomes monotonous. So therefore, eye is waiting to catch this weakness and then jump into a visual objects. Then the ear. If the eye is missing the chance, the ear would take. And then the nose, then the tongue. And when and where you are successfully taking the attention back to the body, it is natural for your mind to become lethargic, mind to become boring, monotonous, uncertain, lack of interest. So, when and where such a mental state happens, unless otherwise you are discussing it with someone, you write in your interview reports, your rational mind consider it as a burden, consider it as kind of a hindrance for the progress. So how many discussions you need, how many radical reflection you need, how many against the grain kind of consideration you need to understand this boredom, this monotony, this lethargic situation is a result of your meditation. It's an achievement, it's an endowment of your mindfulness. So even you are mindful, if you are going to give a wrong interpretation, no progress. So therefore you have to understand when and where eye is functioning with the visual objects, no sleepiness, not lethargic, not monotonous, no uncertainty. You don't know what happened at the ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Because eye is very absorbed with this eventful visual objects, and whenever you are engaged in the hearing with ear, and they are also not lethargic. You really entertain the music, rock music, jazz music, classic music, Indian, northern Indian music, southern Indian music, all the kind of thing. You never complain about lethargic or boredom. But when you come to the meditation center and when you become successful due to your striving, you will understand day by day, more and more you keep with body posture, it's becoming so lethargic, so monotonous and uncertain. And the day you understand that is the aim of this meditation, the Buddha proclaimed, very interesting, engage into the day-to-day moment is what you call tanha, the desire, the craving. So when and where your concentration restraint and the wisdom restraint is working, instead of this tanha, the desire, the attachment, you feel kind of a detachment. You feel, tanha is called raga, you feel kind of a viraga, very boring, very monotonous. You can be, of course, more and more steps in walking meditation, or steps left and the right, but you feel sleepy, swaying, and you feel like closing your eyes. Nothing to worry, nothing to talk about sitting meditation. In sitting, situation is more slimy, more congealing, more sloth, more torpor. So when it happens, it's very difficult one to proceed unless otherwise one can reflect it in a radical way and go prepared, understand this is a result of your mindfulness. Instead of raga, here the viraga is happening. And when and where you understand, when and where you make use this opportunity, and when and where you become vigilant, when and where you become diligent to face with this boredom, to face with this monotony and this lethargic nature, you see when and where there is no defilements in the stream of consciousness, that the lethargic nature, the congealing, the sloth and torpor sets in, and if you are not well instructed, if you are not ready for restraint, definitely you will give into, yield into, and you will change the meditation object or your meditation master, or you change the meditation center and ask for another master. Ask for another meditation object or meditation center, so you can understand so much of criticism about meditation masters, meditation objects and meditation centers. Because you wanted to keep up this your desire, you want to some or the other crooked way, in a perverted way, in a cheating way, to fulfill the satisfaction of your 6 animals, the snake, the crocodile, the bird, the dog, the jackal, the monkey, they have a conspiracy. This is boring, this is none of our... We are not living as such. The world is so much full of visual objects and sounds and everything. What is this rigorous imprisonment like? Come into a retreat, come into a residential retreat and restraining. So therefore whole world is laughing at us. Just like our own self-criticism. So to get it straightened is not only the 100% of the duty of the Buddha. It is 50% up to you. You must have yoniso manasikara. To get the correct view, dve me bhikkhave paccaya dhammaditya upadaya, the Buddha says to get the correct view, there are 2 proximate factors. Paratoscha goso, you have to listen to enlightened being. By listening only you will think about this against the grain kind of logics. Parato goso. Ajjata yoniso manasikaro, you must have radical reflection. must have against the grain kind of reflection. Under such circumstances only, your habitual thinking, the rut, will be reconsidered. Otherwise, you feel like a threat. Your egotistic idea will get threatened. So that is why at the beginning you have to have a moral restraint, and then be prepared for this concentration at the wisdom restraint, and you abide yourself as much as possible with your bodily posture. When and where it is becoming successful, gradually, proportionately, you develop viraga, that is some kind of a lethargic nature, some kind of a monotony, some kind of a boredom. Imagine a day you learn the game, how to be glad with this boredom, how to be glad with this monotony, how to be glad with this undramatic nature, then you are worth calling a yogi or a practitioner or a monk or a nun. If you do not understand it, it is not of your mistake, of course. It is a mistake of your your view. So when is the time this electric thing is going to happen? When and where your primary object become more familiar, when and where you apply mind again and again to the primary object more than yesterday, the time and the preparedness of your mind to see how much the situation become bored, how much situation become lethargic, how much the situation become sloth and torpor, and to be prepared for that. Otherwise, you will fall into the prey of the tricks of the eye or the tricks of the ear, the nose, the tongue, and they are like wounds. The person creeping through a thorny jungle, everywhere wound festering, and eye is a wound. It's a very sensitive thing. Anything can peck on your eye. And the eardrum is yet another very sensitive thing. And the olfactory nervous system in the ear, nose, very sensitive. Your taste buds, your epidermis of the skin, the body, very sensitive, and the mind. So with that, if you are going to creep through a thorny jungle, you can think about what a kind of agony. And under such circumstances, just think about not creeping, but just be stand still. Not try to move. So this is a kind of a hint Buddha says, go into a forest, no problem. Sit under a tree, no problem. Go to a solitude place, no problem. Nishidati pallankam. Sit cross-legged, don't try to move, and be aware of the body. Nishidati pallankam ahabhuchitva. Be aware of your bodily configuration with closed eyes. And don't make any conscious decision. Don't do any voluntary work. Just observe what is happening involuntarily within the body. So some people understand, I am not dead. I am not unconscious. I am not sleepy. But there is a signal to indicate, I am living, I am awake, I am mindful. That's a verification of the mindfulness. That's the only thing you can't communicate. Two people can sit together in the same meditation center, maybe 1 hour both, but when and where someone becomes mindful, how to verify? Any language on the earth, any grammar on the earth, never can express it. So you have to gain your own ways and means to understand pallankam abhujitva, sit cross-legged, no any intentional or volitional or willful thing, fully be alert, fully be diligent and vigilant, and experience. And there you can see, as a criterion, you can feel I am not dead, I am not unconscious, I am not sleepy, I am awake, and how long you can keep the mind in this, here, now, I am sitting. And any conscious decision is a wound. That conscious decision comes to satisfy either to your ear, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body or the mind. So therefore, these all animals are tied into the body. They are pulling. Desperately they are pulling. But your peg is very strong. Your harnessing rope is very strong. So whatever the struggle, they have to surrender, lie down at the peg. And that's the point you can make sure, now I can be happy with my body. Body is my best friend. I know eye is pulling, ear is pulling, everything. But so rightly it is restrained, tied to the body posture, and keep on practicing. When it's happening, at the beginning, of course, you get the thrills and frills by being in the present moment. But soon you start develop the monotony or boredom, thinking that the being here, it's okay, but what is the progress? Am I in the samatha way? Am I in the vipassana? Am I in the first jhana? Or is it arupa jhana? Or is it in the insight knowledge? So all the kind of opinions are about to come just to keep you eccentric. Just to keep out of mindfulness. And you consider this as your knowledge, okay, this as your creativity, this as your progress, or this as your well-being. And therefore mind is doing all the juggleries, crooked things, and cheating things, and you, in a hidden way, entertain them. Each time you entertain, you understand your simplicity gone, your innocence gone, your direct touch to the present moment gone, and then one or the other animal become very violent and virulent, so you get up and go. Instead, day by day, you to understand this boredom is it's a kind of a precursor, early sign, like a dawn before the sunrise. And the day you catch hold, when and where you successful in dwelling on the body and boredom can set in, you consider it is a reason to be vigilant, reason to be diligent, reason to be immediate with, and consider this as a endowment of your mindfulness. Go prepare. So the Buddha says, the defilement never arises on your consciousness without a sign, without a feeling, without a perception, without a volitional activity, or your willful pull, or without discriminating this is me and not me. So when and where it happens, when and where defilement happens, it comes with its own due sign. And if the defilement is very gross and virulent and very infectious, the sign is very gross. It's very dramatic. So in the meditation, the day you try to understand, they come, the bombarding, striking things are happening, visual objects or mind-made visual objects or sounds or pain or thought, maybe even your in-breath and out-breath, very gross at the beginning, and slowly when you are progressing, when they become subtle or medium, that means you are progressing, that means your defilements are becoming less and less. But that is what you call the boredom. That is what you call the monotony. That is what you call the lethargic. That is why it says, while meditating, you have to discuss, you have to have a dialogue, you have to have interviews, and the day you express this changeover, when the object becomes subtle and subtle, there's a kind of lethargic nature or undramatic, sleepy, slimy nature can come in. And the day you can explain without your judgmental and without your preconceived ideas, not a single in this audience is lack of this experience. But they hide it, thinking it is my personal weakness. Maybe I am not enough precepts or morality. Maybe my mindfulness is not so strong. Maybe my concentration is disturbed. Maybe this Perth is not a good place. And this sun is too hot. The meal I have taken is so bad. And people are coughing. And doors are slamming. So there you find some or the other reason to attribute it, rather than see this scenario, how it changed from the dramatic to the subtle. When that happens, that itself you consider as a sleepiness, or mind slips off. And if you can explain it, if you can not explain, leave it with explaining, just report it. That means your mind knows the game. Due to this moral restraint and the concentration restraint and the wisdom restraint, things become pale and pale and pale. Less and less colorful. Less and less dramatic. That means your restraint is increasing, mindfulness is increasing, concentration is increasing. These animals, they are tied into a peg and they struggle in a losing game. And you gain the grounds. So when these ear, eye, nose, tongues, they become calmed down, natural mind or rational mind or uninstructed mind, say it as the boredom, monotony. And you feel like get up and go and see a football game or cricket game. And that is how you break the trend. Instead, if you are well instructed, you can, if you can really read it and understand it, to double-fold your mindfulness, double-fold your energy, double-fold your faith, and be prepared for this boredom. And then you can see with that kind of a steadfast mindfulness and the energy not releasing, the faith, it's called verifiable faith. You know this is happening because due to my own effort. It is not the mere superficial or unrooted faith on the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. This is something I earned by my meditation. So keep up with this faith. Then only you can see through the conventional truth to the absolute truth. Otherwise you will definitely come back again to the conventional truth, and you will start complaining this and that. And the day you understand how to report and how to look at from the third person's viewpoint, and this change happens, you can understand, you may recollect how many thousands of times you misread it, mis-explained it, do explain in the wrong way, and some or the other yielding into the eye or ear or nose or tongue, whatever may be this wild animal. Instead, if you can still keep, while the visual objects are happening mentally or physically, or sounds happening, pains, thoughts and everything, still be aware. Yes, they can come, the thoughts can come, pains can come and go. Sounds can come, or visual object, colors and everything can happen. Still I know I am sitting. They are not my willful action. They are just gate crashes. They comes to go. When and where I try to engage with them, they will be creeping into my stream of consciousness. So I try to keep as much as possible with this body, even though it is boring. You consider this boredom as your product or result of your meditation, and you keep on, then you can see there's nothing hitting you. They are all dream-like thing. They are all mind-made thing. So how to go through it? So that is what call going against the grain. Stream or swimming upstream. When it happens, not that throughout the life you have to do it. It's a philosophical understanding. It's a inferential understanding or insightful understanding. When and where these challenges happens, don't yield into, be aware. This boredom that is called viraga, the opposite of the desire, opposite of the lustful thing or hateful thing, you just be with the middle. If you are not well instructed, you may read it as boredom or sleepiness and kind of thing, but instead go prepared, and when you keep on doing, you can understand they come all the time. You are the person, or I would put it in this way, the sounds, the visual objects, sounds, smells, taste, touch and the visual mind objects, they come as a suggestion. It will never be implemented unless otherwise you second them. They will never go into your minutes unless otherwise you never second it. They ever keep on bombarding. So you must understand where to take your refuge, and don't try to avoid them. Don't try to entertain them. There's a kind of a seconding process. Whatever you second, whatever you appreciate, they just plunge into your house, come into your stream of consciousness, and then there's a knitting happens. Venerable Jnananda used to say, when you are stitching two pieces of clothes with the old finger sewing machine, you can see the thread going with the help of the needle, but you can't see how the thread coming underneath through the shuttle and put a knot. And each time the needle goes there, there's the hook coming down and put the knot. And that you can't see. But imagine if the thread in the shuttle bobbin is finished, and still you are stitching, you can see the needle is going, and there's a false kind of a stitching also happening, but two pieces of clothes are not stick together because bobbin is free of threads. So that is what the Arahant is. Suggestions are there, but there's nothing to second. The bobbin is free. The Putujana, the common is, immediately he refill the bobbin and then start stitching, thinking it is otherwise the stitching is useless. So it is the way, whenever the snake or crocodile or bird or dog or jackal or monkey come and give a bait, come and give a titillation, you are the culprit, or your desire is the culprit, or your ignorance is the culprit. You select one. Each time you select, that takes the upper hand, all the other five become suppressed. And that particular thing is going to lead, and ultimately you complain, the sounds are coming and disturbing me, visual objects are coming and disturbing you, but of course you are the one disturbing visual objects. Your desire is the one get engaged with the visual object or sounds or whatever may be, but innocently you say, no, I am a very innocent person. That sounds come and striking me. Thoughts come and striking me. Visual objects are striking me. Like the complete interpretation depend when the boredom sets in, how much you have the preparedness, just to maintain it, not letting the sloth and torpor to set in. Don't misinterpret it. Try to have the booster dose of mindfulness. Try to have a booster dose of energy. Try to have a booster dose of faith. And just keep on. And there you can see the crafty mind is coming out with 1,001 questions. Am I progressing? Is it mindfulness? Is it samatha or vipassana? Or am I in the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, or vipassana knowledge? All the things appear like opinions, or just like in a case, the government given lawyer like. They work free of charge. So you can take it, but whatever you take, you just simply become eccentric. You simply become off the track. Your simplicity, your innocence goes. So no one can escape this trap. But with trial and error, if you go prepared one day, instead of this rationalizing and all the kind of, you just simply maintain and understand this boredom sits in me, that I have associated this object for a longer time. That is mindfulness is steadfast. So this boredom is a sign, indicate the lack of desire, lack of tanha, craving. So can I appreciate this already earned indifferent situation, or non-colorful situation, non-dramatic situation, not eventful situation? So then you can see you get a walkover. There's nothing rivalry. But the only thing is how much you are prepared. That prepared is the one the Buddha says, appamada, the diligence, the vigilance. So mindfulness and appamada come in line with to protect what you have earned it. So therefore earning is one skillfulness, and the protection of it, safeguarding the already earned thing, is yet another one. Utthana sampada, arakha sampada. Utthana sampada means you earn it. That is to say, not let the mind, the stream of consciousness to jump into the eye, ear, nose, tongue, but keep with the left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, or sitting meditation, sitting posture, or rising and falling, or in-breath and out-breath. When it is happening, not for each and every person, that there may be some kind of a lethargic situation, consider this as one of your achievement and facilitate it, protect it as much as possible without moving your body consciously, without introducing any ideas, volitional or willfulness, and just keep on, maintain the balance like a tightrope walking. When you start at the beginning, your balance is fairly steady because the rope is not so shaky. When you go to the middle, the rope is more suspension, so you have to maintain the equilibrium. You have to maintain the balance. Don't look at here and there for the people cheering and all the kind of thing. If it is so, you know what is going to happen. So just like tightrope walking, you have to seriously maintain the balance. And if you can go through the middle, the other side also fairly confirm. So likewise in the meditation, when and where this uncertainty sets in, when and where this boredom, fearfulness, monotony, lack of progress and lethargic nature sets in, the art of how to be glad on this situation appear like non-social, and you don't know how to entertain the life, and therefore you feel like defeated. Do I have that personality just to maintain what I earn is very, very decisive. You can't attribute to that to a one single factor. A lot of factors are there. But day by day, you are learning, you are earning more and more skillfulness to continue it, and imagine once you become a sotapanna, first time you manage to go along this tightrope walking. And if you wish to be a Sakadagami, again you have to start like a beginner. Don't assume that I have this capacity, that capacity, therefore everything should be a paved carpet road. No. It is yet another rugged road. And when you start, there's another kind of uncertainty sets in, but you are better off because once you have done it. And then again and again it has to happen. That is the way your knowledge becomes reinforced, your knowledge becomes galvanized. So this uncertainty, the boredom, the monotony, if you know the art, how to appreciate it, how to protect it, or how to be glad in that, so this is the answer for mental diseases. Whenever you have unsatisfactoriness, frustration, and tension, you can be aware of this tension and the frustration and be with your body. As far as you are living with your body, frustration can't live. As far as you love your body, the tension cannot live. As far as you are with the frustration, the loving kindness is happening, hatred can't take place. So, unless otherwise you are practicing, unless otherwise you are mindful, your art of living is hating your body. This is the way we are living. So we have to radically think about and love your body. Love your posture, whatever it may be. Yatha yatha vakayo panihito hoti tata tatanam pajanati. Whatever the display of your body, be aware of it. Because as far as you are living, you have a body. It is a blessed thing. So, if you love your body, if you love your posture, if you be aware of it, you have to understand, as far as you are with Kaya Anupassana or mindful on your posture, the tension and frustration have no rooting, no grounds. But if you are already a mental patient, this is not a good, may not be a good situation to start mindfulness. So there's a huge question, who are the qualified person to start mindfulness? This is if you are having the serious mental diseases like schizophrenia and bipolar kind of, may not be successful. But before happens it, please take time and be with your body and see how many thought moments you can live with your body without the willful ideas and volitional things, and that is what you call sitting meditation. In walking, you have only one single action, walking up and down and be aware. In day-to-day activities, a lot of volitional things happening, but still you be mindful. Back at home, you are multitasking, still, if you are skillful, you can be mindful. And that is what in sitting we do, giving the maximum conducive conditions and be friendly with your body. So this is the crux of the teaching of the Chappanaka Sutta, but Sutta still continue refining the same idea. So today I am going to wind up my talk with this remark. Please make your body as your best friend. Thank you very much for listening.